Right now, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about some battlefields right here in Fresno. And joining us in the studio is Jeff Robinson, and I know Jeff for years has been involved with gay issues, with the Gay Pride Parade, Community Link, and what the heck's going on, Jeff?
Well, I would like to say we're not in a battlefield. I would like to be able to say that we're not there, but that is what it feels like. So, we've got our 26th annual parade coming up on June the 4th, and we, as of this moment, still do not have our permit from the city. We've had lots of issues with new rules and regulations that have been put into place that have had a tremendous drain on us financially. But also there were some caveats in there that really required us to say, some of the stuff really is not fair. One of them was, and I'd like to say that as of 9:12 p.m. last night, Bruce Rudd did communicate that we would not have to do a couple of these things. So,
tell us what these outrageous things were.
Well, one of them was the city has made one change and said that they used to do what was called a soft closure for community events, and the police department would assist with traffic control. Now they're going to do a hard closure, which means that you contract out through a company to provide all the barricades and the flow of traffic and everything that way. It's called a hard closure. The one thing that we balked on is our bill went from $900 to $4,500 to do that part. We've successfully gone out and raised the money to do that. The little catch in there was that with a hard closure, you have to get permission, 100% permission from every business and resident along your parade route. And we're like, well, for a minority community that is often oppressed, that's really crazy to think that 100% of everybody is going to agree with the gay community coming together and having their event. So we really have said, hey, this isn't fair. Let's not look at that. That this needs to be taken off the table. Because I contacted the city and said, well, hey, what's the ratio of yays to nays? What's the approval against people that would refuse? And he said it had to be 100%. And I said, well, that is really ridiculous. So that's been one of our big sticking points. And we did have one business that flatly refused to even talk to us or sign the form one way or another. So that was one of the issues.
So if there's one person who disagrees with the First Amendment, then...
Yeah, exactly. And this is a First Amendment right, our freedom of expression and freedom to assembly. And what I've always said is, if they won't let me have a parade, we're going to have the most flamboyant, fabulous, colorful political march you've ever seen. Because those folks are going to come with their flags and their pom-poms and their decorations and their costumes, and we will just make this into a big political march. Really, because that's what prides are about. Prides are about honoring the fact that the gay community said we will no longer be second-class citizens. We're not going to be treated any differently. And so that's one of the things we have been looking at. The city seems to have policies that are enforced on some folks, but not on others. So it's kind of become cronyism, old boy network, who you know, gets you absolved from this, it gets you special favors such as porta potties being loaned out to the Veterans Day Parade, but it's not offered to the other parades. They have a blanket contract with one of the companies that provides the barricades that they push out onto community events that they feel are favorable. And they just utilize that, where we pick up the cost for the barricades for us, which was almost $5,000. We found this out because one of our partners in doing community events, which is the Mardi Gras Parade, they got hit with a $10,000 bill because they're about a half a mile longer than us. And it's like, whoa, wait, what's this about? We provide a service to the community. Cultural events, we enrich the lives of all the citizens of Fresno, and we should not be forced to basically pay the city to put these events on when they should really be putting these events on.
But, so, to me, why should there be two sets of rules for people? I mean, I don't understand how that can possibly make sense. If they don't like me, then I pay 10 times as much as the person that they like. I mean, that seems sort of,
selective enforcement. And so we tried to work with our city council people, and we have a great relationship with Oliver Baines and Esmeralda Soria, District 1 and 3. We have great relationships with the department heads. So one decision has had kind of a ricochet effect. We tried to do it the friendly way. Hey, let's come together. Let's compromise. Let's work on this. Hey, this is what's happening to us. Let's do this in the right way because we have worked for 26 years together. And it just wasn't going that way. So I contacted the California Rural Legal Assistance and spoke to an individual there who listened to what we had to say. And he was very lawyeristic and said, no, Jeff, stop there. I don't want to hear any more about that, but let's go here. When we got to the point that it seemed like it was selective enforcement of new rules and stuff, that's when it said, oh, you have a case. And they immediately got us in contact with the American Civil Liberties Union in Northern California. And so we worked through that process. And I did let the city know, hey, I want to let you know that I've gotten to the point where I've had to reach out and utilize resources I have to make this happen. And one of them was the name of the attorney who has had experience with Fresno City on their parades. And he was sending me back, that's illegal, can't do that, that's illegal. And so once I kind of informed them that this is who I was working with, there seems to have been an opening in the curtain that was like, nope, this isn't going to happen. We're standing our ground. So we actually found out last night at 9:12 that they would not require the signatures. They will waive that this year. So we did look at that. And then we also were given another thing. They backed off on a thing called non-owned auto, which has been a sticking point in our insurance for 2 years. I did find that. So we were working on like 3 or 4 different plans in case something goes sideways. We did find as of this morning, we do have insurance coverage for everything we need. So it meets the city stuff, even though Bruce Rudd did back off and said, we will forego non-owned auto in your policy.
What does that even mean?
I don't really know. And, we've had an insurance broker that we've worked with for umpteen years, since 2003. And this is a broker who can't even find a company that would offer it. Last year when they tried to impose it and they backed off, they sent me to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. And of course in the summer, Mardi Gras isn't happening, so there was no one there that could help us. We just could not find it anywhere. And it was down to the last 2 days before the parade before we finally got some relief from the city. This year we went with the Tower Mardi Gras group here in Fresno. We found out who their insurer was. We contacted them, did all that, and what came back and said, oh, is the city insuring you? Is this a city-sponsored event or not? I said, well, I don't think it's a city-sponsored event, but we're looking at if they're going to help us on this. And what came of it is this company that we were working with was actually the insurer for Fresno City, and they told Fresno City they had to insure us.
So they already had it.
They had it, but here's the deal. Our normal cost was $1,600 for our insurance. It skyrocketed our cost to $4,117 and required us to get a general liability for every booth that was going to be there. And this came out on May 13th. We've been advertising and working with our community and folks that want to be a part since January. And we felt at Community Link it was very unfair to turn around and tell our little nonprofit groups and our little groups that meet here and little mom and pop shops that have art stuff, hey, by the way, you're going to have to pay this extra fees. We felt because we'd already gotten all this in, we were going to absorb that cost. We didn't feel that there was anything else other than saying when people came, hey, we're going to ask that maybe you might consider foregoing your cleaning deposit back, which was $20. But it was really kind of crazy. It's like, well, if you've had this all along and this was an issue for us last year in 2015, why did you not offer it? Why did you send me to New Orleans to try to track down coverage when the insurer really is here in Irvine, California?
So tell me this. I mean, there's the different parades. There's the Veterans Day parade. Mm-hmm. There's the Christmas parade. There's I don't know,
Mardi Gras and Chinese New Year and
Mardi Gras, Chinese. And so
5.
Are all these people going through all this?
No.
So talk about that.
Well, we have now begun to kind of talk amongst ourselves, the different parade organizations that are doing community events. And if you've gone to Chinese New Year, which is a great event every February or March, you go down there and you don't see the closures like you see here. So they have never had to pay those or the policing fees. When you go to Mardi Gras, they have a tremendous amount of police down there. We've been paying for our fees from like 2005 or something. And I'm like, wow, you guys have like triple the police force here. You have paddy wagons and mounted horses and bicycle police officers, motorcycle police officers, paddy wagons. Your bill's got to be like outrageous. Mine's 1,000, about 500 files and 600 for what we have, and we supplement the police officers in the past with our own volunteers. That's been one of our great arrangements. We provide safety monitors to cover the smaller residential streets. They provide the bigger coverage for the larger streets, and we've had a partnership for all these years. And I'm like, well, what are you paying? Because this is what I'm paying. Well, we found out that they're not, for an example, the City of Fresno provides porta potties for Veterans Day. The city does not offer that to Bill Keebler's group for Mardi Gras, and they're not offering that to Fresno Gay Pride. That's an $800 cost we would have. So that would be something that they could have helped us on, and it would have seemed fair that, hey, if you're offering it for this, you can offer it for that. Is veterans more special or favored in some way, more so than
or
the
more
gay
politically
people?
correct?
Well, exactly. And same thing with the Children's Day Parade. You know, well, everybody's got to love children. So there's these events that are not being treated the same, and such as the California Classic. The city rolls out some of their coverage because it's something that they want to be a part of, but they don't offer that fairly across the board. And so what's happened is Bill Keebler and a group has come together, and we are now trying to work with our District 1 and 3 to say, hey, the parades typically happen downtown or here in the Tower. Those are your districts. We need a consistent, fair policy on community events.
Legal.
A legal one. Yes, exactly. Legal and fair. And, you know, I really don't want to see the city then become super rigid and say, well, you know, you took us to task, so now we're going to attack these other events. What you need to do is look, what is fair? What do our community events bring to Fresno? Hey, we know that there's a brain drain. Creative Fresno, Fres Yes, so our youth leave because they get better jobs other places and there's no reason to stay here. We need cultural events that speak to so many different people. MLK also had a problem with some of these new regulations. Yeah.
Wow.
Greg Barfield, who organized, said, hey, I got hit with a $500 bill on this and I got hit on that. We bring in money through revenue. Okay. All the businesses here down the district get tons of business that day. We have people that spend money to build their floater entry or to stock their booth, to give out handouts and whatever. So printing people, decorating people, food vending people, merchandising people, all spending money generating tax revenue for the city and county of Fresno. So this isn't a drain. This is a positive thing. Every business down Olive will be impacted positively. And every gay bar will be hit. And we have 5 gay bars in the city. We'll have humongous days that then recirculate revenue, not only to the city and state, but also the county and the state and everyone. For bars, they have 3 big days. They have New Year's and they have Halloween. Well, for gay folks, we have Gay Pride Day, where they are pure profit days for these individuals. So we impact the city in a very positive way. We impact the city and county also in the fact that we end stigma for young people and people that are struggling with who they are, because you get your batteries recharged when you come to something like this. This isn't just a party. This is a remembrance of the Stonewall Riots in 1969. It is one day for us out of 365 where we can say this is who we are, and we have survived another year under attack, where it has not been safe for us. So this is a day that we can come out and do this, and it is about a visibility, and it's about people feeling re-empowered and like, oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. Look at all these people, so diverse, and I belong. I fit in. I have purpose. I have value. So we do a tremendous job all across the board for promoting stuff within the city. So it would be nice if the city started working with us in that and said, this is a value. You know, the Fresno Bee listed things to do in Fresno, and they came out with the first 52, and then they said, oh, we're going to do another. The very first one was go to a parade. And the very first parade was Gay Pride. So we do add value back to the city and to the citizens, not only of Fresno City, but of the surrounding area and people that come in to visit us from Modesto or Bakersfield or wherever they're coming.
Okay, and we're talking to Jeff Robinson about the Gay Pride Parade and the obstacles that he's been encountering. I guess I would like you to talk a little bit about, there are all kinds of folks who are working on events with the city. I know personally I've been involved in, I guess, marches, not parades, but still a lot of costs involved. We have to pay for the police to, keep us from killing people, I guess, in that, while we're walking down the street. What would be your advice to other groups that are, planning events?
What I would advise anyone that's looking at doing a community event here is talk with the other folks that have been doing this. Talk to the folks that are doing MLK or Juneteenth or Cesar Chavez Day. Talk with the folks that are doing the peace movement stuff and say, what are you doing and how are you working and who do you need to go to? Who should I talk to? How should I present this to them? Work with the people that have some resources that could possibly lend you resources that are not only knowledge-based or resource-based, but maybe physical things such as canopies or chairs or tables. Work with those folks to help streamline the process for you. Come together with us so that when we present a unified force to the City of Fresno, we're all together and we're talking about not just the 5 parades, we're talking about any community event that enriches the community. So that could be really anything that we do. It doesn't have to be a parade. It can be a small little festival. It can be a street party. It can be a block party.
Okay. And why don't you just tell our listeners about what's going to happen at Gay Pride this year?
Well, I'm very happy to say that we have planned as if the show has to go on. Mm-hmm. So on Saturday, June 4th at 10 o'clock, please come out and enjoy something that is free to everyone. The parade is totally free. It's one of the best forms of entertainment and enjoyment you can find anywhere is a free parade. We will be starting at Palm and heading down to Maroa Street, down Olive. Come, mark out a place on the sidewalk to sit. Bring your folding chairs. Come out, ask your friends to join you. Grab a drink or something, a refreshment from one of the businesses. Sit and watch the parade. It will be about an hour and a half in length, which is great because our first parade was literally 15 minutes. And come out and enjoy that. And I would say just from that point when the parade ends, you can tell everybody just flows with the parade over into where we're at on Fulton and Olive. And that's where we have our festival. And we have kept our prices extremely low. We would like to say we could do it for free, but we just can't. We do it at $5. And, if someone walked up and said, here's all I have, we're not going to argue with you. We're going to let you go on in. But we ask $5 from everyone. That way we can keep paying and reinforcing that we can keep doing this. In that area, we should have about 70 booths, informational booths of every type that you can imagine. We have a lot of churches that are going to be there. Some interesting ones is Our Savior Lutheran Church is going to be there for the first time, and St. Paul Newman Center is going to be there for the first time. So they'll be joining the UU Church and Wesley Methodist and First Congregational Church of Fresno and the Community Church of Christ there on Fresno Street. So all those groups will be there. Come down. There'll be people that are having things for pets and for dogs. There'll be food. There'll be rainbow-colored everything. There'll be T-shirts galore. We've got artwork. We've got a book signing thing happening. With all that, we're also going to have a whole little food court with some fabulous food, everything from raw food. Raw Fresno is going to be there. And we're going to have Mexican food, and we're going to have hamburgers and all the rest. We have Italian ice that's going to be served. We have snow cones. We have kettle corn. So come and enjoy the food court. And then we have an entertainment area where we have the Raging Grannies. They're going to open up for us like they do every year. They're so excited. So they will be there to sing their political satire songs, and hopefully maybe they'll do one about pride. You just never know. Then we're going to have a whole slew of vocalists and drag kings and drag queens performing. We'll have a dance tent across the way to get your groove on, to everything from Latin music to rave music to house music to hip-hop to top 40. We have a children's area. Wesley Methodist Church runs our children's area, so there'll be bounce houses that we provide. They'll be doing carnival games. And with that, we really feel it's important that the kids that come get something. So we are putting together 70 kiddie bags. We put a bottle of water. We put some non-peanut snacks, some little toys and trinkets for them. So that each kid will get one of those that come in that's under a certain age until they run out. And then we also will be having an adult bounce house area. So we have joust and stuff. So the teenagers and the adults can get and have a good time. And the big thing about our parade is that we're open to all ages. We want youth to be able to come. We want children to be able to come. We want our families to come. We want our seniors to come. And the other part of that is that is unique in California. A lot of them have age caps. Like if you're 16, you can't come without a parent. So we think there are a lot of gay kids that haven't been able to come out to their homes or to their parents that need to be able to come to this. We also provide another unique thing is we provide a place to kick back and hang out. We have lots of tables and umbrellas and chairs for people to hang out, talk with their friends, catch up with old friends, meet new friends, and just have a whole day. We ask you to come out. It's from 11 to 3, and it's $5.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, Jeff, and much kudos to you for battling it out with the city. I'm extremely alarmed that they're trying to shut this kind of thing down in the city. That sounds like the exact opposite thing that should be happening. But thanks for coming and letting us know what's going to happen and fighting the good fight there. And we've been talking to Jeff Robertson, talking about the Gay Pride Parade. And we're going to take a break, and we're going to